So, you want to achieve an aesthetic physique. All the aesthetic influencers that you follow are literally just doing this one simple method. It doesn't involve some crazy 6-day multi-phase
aerobic capacity test.
It is literally just a simple method that pretty much everyone follows, but they literally just overcomplicate it. You just follow this method, you will be aesthetic within 1 year. All my friends have done it. This is their transformation, just to put some proof in the pudding. So I want you to become aesthetic purely from the information in this video, so I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's get you jacked. And if you do get jacked or you learn something from this video, make sure to leave a subscribe because it helps me make videos like this. Okay, so before I get into the source, what actually is an aesthetic physique? So in terms of aesthetic, I mean aesthetically appealing to women. We are not optimizing for the attraction of men here. So we aren't trying to get on gear. We aren't trying to turn into Sam Sulek, get dick skin lean, because the only compliments you will get from that will be from men. Generally, an aesthetic physique consists of a big chest, muscular arms, and a V-taper. And the most important thing, a sub 15% body fat. This has been proven even in studies to be the most aesthetically appealing muscle groups and body fat percentage to women specifically. So to achieve this look, I've put together a workout program that is optimized for aesthetics. Okay, so I'm pretty much going to rapid fire what you need to be following, so just feel free to screenshot. Okay, so this is going to be 6 days a week, push-pull legs. This is simply the most effective workout split that you can follow. So on push day, you're going to be doing 3 sets of incline bench, cable flies, dips, cable push downs, skull crushers, shoulder press, and lateral raises. And you're going to be doing this for about 8 to 15 reps, depending on the exercise. Pull day, the same thing, 3 sets for pull-ups, rows, cable pullovers, dumbbell bicep curl, standing barbell curl, and shrugs. And then you have leg day, which is 3 sets of squats, leg extensions, hamstring curls, calf raises, and leg raises for your abs. Okay, so for all these exercises, it's going to be between 8 and 12 reps. Generally, your compound movements, you're going to be aiming more towards the 8 rep range, and the more hypertrophy movements, you're going to be going higher up towards the 15 rep range. And that's it. Just keep it simple. Make sure you're just progressively overloading, either lifting heavier or doing more reps every session, and just literally focusing on your form and getting that perfect. Okay, now the source. Literally, the biggest mistake that people make when they're trying to get an aesthetic physique is trying to stay lean year round. If you're under 16% body fat, bulk. Otherwise, cut down to about 12% body fat and then start your bulk there. You can only gain muscle when in a caloric surplus. The reason most skinny guys only look like soccer players after 3+ years of lifting is because they don't give their body the fuel to grow. They try to stay shredded the entire year. Bodybuilders literally spend most of their time in the off season just bulking, trying to put on the mass, because bulking is where the gains are actually made. You will gain more size in 1 year on a bulk than you will 3 years, either in a cut or trying to maintain your current weight. And what a lot of beginners don't realize is that building muscle is not linear. It's done in phases. Bulk, cut, bulk, cut, bulk, cut, and then eventually maintenance. But in your beginner years, you should be spending at least 80% of the time bulking. Like, do the math. If you want to get bigger, you want to be eating more for a larger proportion of time. But, Will, I don't want to become fat. Okay, so this is where the phases come in. So basically, ideally you'd be spending about 6 months or over that bulking, and then for a shorter amount of time, you're gonna be cutting, burning off that fat that you gained as a byproduct of this bulk. So when do you enter a cut? Ideally when you get above about 20% body fat and you really start to lose your abs completely, that's when you want to start getting into a bulk and just stripping that fat back off and starting back from about 12% body fat and then just bulking up again. Ideally when you cut, you don't want to be losing any muscle though. You only want it to be the fat that you burn off. Okay, so usually after the first bulk and cut cycle, this will take about a year and you will literally look like an entire different person if done right. For example, this is me starting out at 74 kilos at around roughly 16% body fat. And this was with absolutely just no muscle mass whatsoever. I then bulked up all the way to 82 kilos at about 20% body fat. Then I started my cut. I got down to about 12% body fat at about 75 kilos. And this was my first year. I did my bulk and then I cut back down. I then went on another bulk, and this is where I'm sitting at now at about 86 kilos, about 16% body fat. So I'm still the same body fat that when I started, but I'm about 12 kilos heavier. This is literally all just by understanding the fundamentals of the bulk cut cycle. This is the key to achieving an aesthetic physique ASAP. This is literally the quickest way. Maintenance simply just takes too long, and you're never actually going to gain the amount of muscle mass needed to become aesthetic. So to maximize muscle growth, basically just repeat the bulk cut cycle for about 5 years when you reach the point of diminished returns. For some people it might be longer than this, could be closer to 10 years, but when you pretty much stop gaining muscle on your bulk and you're only gaining fat, that's when you're actually going to want to start just maintaining about 10 to 12% body fat. Any leaner than this and chicks find it gross, and any more than this and you will lose that beloved six pack. Okay, so in terms of the aesthetics, what muscle groups should you build in order to get that aesthetic look? So like I said before, the big chest, the muscular arms, and the V-taper. Right, so let's start with the chest. So the aesthetic chest is mainly built up of the upper chest. The upper chest is what gives it that armor plate look. It's what makes you look big in clothes and just makes the chest look just full in general. So in terms of building the upper chest, okay, so imagine you're just pushing straight out horizontally. That builds your chest. Now imagine pushing vertically. That obviously builds your shoulders. In order to build your upper chest, you're gonna wanna be doing something in between at about a 45-degree angle. That is where the incline bench comes in. So that's why on push days, we're focusing only on the incline bench. But don't worry, we also build the rest of the chest due to the cable flies working the mid chest, and the dips will cover your lower chest. Now, the muscular arms. So your arms are built of mainly two muscle groups, the bicep and the tricep. Now, contrary to popular belief, the bicep actually makes up a minority of the muscle mass on your arms. The tricep is actually a much larger muscle group. You'll actually notice the guys that fill out their sleeves the most are the ones with the big triceps. Luckily, our push days are very tricep heavy. We have the bench press, which will also work your triceps. We have the dips, which when progressively overloaded with weights will absolutely just explode the mass of your triceps. And then we also have tricep push down and skull crushers, which will pretty much just fill out any of the imbalances in your triceps. Now we also want juicy biceps for that aesthetic look. Everyone wants that one bicep vein. So how do we actually achieve this? Well, it's the same way that you achieve any other veins. It's to get more muscle and to get leaner, because muscle pushes the veins to the surface more, and burning the fat will reveal those veins under the fat layer. So in terms of training the biceps, it's very simple. You only really need two movements: seated dumbbell curl and standing barbell curl. If you progressively overload this and train hard enough, you will achieve those big, juicy biceps. Okay, now for probably the most important thing to achieving an aesthetic physique, the V-taper. So V-taper pretty much just refers to the width of your shoulders in proportion to the width of your waist. This is achieved by getting wide shoulders, developed lats, and a tight core. This means we need to focus on movements that target our lateral delts, our lats, and our core. So in terms of growing your back, pull-ups will always be the king of growing muscle mass on your back and developing your lats. If you look at calisthenics athletes, you'll notice their backs are just fucking massive, and this is due to all the pull-up and muscle-up exercises that they do. And if you can do pull-ups and progressively overload them with even weights, you will get a massive back. Also, the lat pullovers we've got in the workout will target your lats like no other movement. This pretty much just isolates them from the rest of your back, and this will literally give you wings. Now, the second most important thing in your V-taper, getting those wide shoulders. Now, literally for this, all you're gonna do is just spam lateral raises.
If you're a little bit bored on the leg extensions, get the fuck up and do some lateral raises. If you can't be fucked doing squats, get the fuck up and do lateral raises. If you're on the hamstring curl machine, do the fucking lateral raises.
And for the tight core, I've included leg raises in there because you'll actually notice that most people have a pretty developed upper core just starting out. So the leg raises will really target that lower core and build that up. And we don't really want to be overtraining our obliques, and they will be worked due to the other movements as a byproduct. So we're not going to specifically train the obliques, because if you actually train your obliques too much, you can actually make your waist wider. So to make your waist thinner, this is just mostly done by lowering your body fat percentage. You know how most people say abs are built in the kitchen? It's kind of true. Yes, you can grow your abs due to exercises, but the best way to tighten your core and shrink your waist it's just being a lower body fat percentage. So if you're mid bulk and you're like, bro, why is my waist so blocky? Don't worry, it's just because you're on a bulk, and the second you cut back down, your V-taper is gonna look like this. And that is why I say you should maintain about 10 to 12% body fat once you hit that level of diminished returns, because that is the body fat where your waist will be nice and tight, your abs will be showing, but you also won't be too shredded to the point where you just look skinny. Okay, so with this information alone, you will be able to achieve an aesthetic physique in under a year. But one final thing, what should you be eating eating. Now I actually have a pretty controversial take on this, as I mainly stick to a carnivorous based diet. This means a lot of red meat, a lot of eggs, and a lot of chicken. I eat this sort of food when I'm bulking and cutting. When I'm bulking, I have about 4,500 calories. When I'm cutting, I have about 3,200. I have an extremely high metabolism, so I don't recommend you actually eat this much. All I can recommend for you is to go to the calorie-calculator.net website. There you can put in all the details, your height, your weight, your activity level, and it'll give you sort of a rough ballpark estimate on the amount of calories you should be eating in a bulk and the amount of calories you should be eating in a cut. But the best way to sort of work that out is to honestly just listen to your body. And if you're eating a certain amount and you're gaining weight and you want to be gaining weight, good. If you want to be losing weight and you're still gaining weight, eat less. All right, you just got to do the calculation in your head and do a little bit of trial and error to work out what your maintenance calorie level is. In terms of protein, you should generally just stick to about 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. A lot of influencers like to autistically go into this, like, no, it should be 2 grams of protein per pound of body weight. No, but you don't need that much. Bro, just stick to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight and you'll be fine. Trust me, you don't need to stress too much about that. If you're eating meat, eggs, and a lot of those sort of things, you're going to be hitting that protein goal pretty easily. Also, if you want an example of an easy, cheap, bulking diet that you can follow, I've just got that in the description. Also, as a side note, drink lots of water. Not only is it essential for your muscles to grow, but actually drinking a lot of water will help you look less bloated and will help you look lean, because drinking more water actually lowers your water retention. Also, another part of looking aesthetic that most people neglect is looking after your skin. The worst thing is if you're absolutely peeled to the gills, but you're either a pasty boy or covered in pimples. So to avoid looking like Casper the Ghost, I suggest you just touch grass and get some sunlight. Or if you're a soulless ginger like me, you can try fake tan. No, it's not gay. Or there is a thing called Milana Tan 2. You didn't hear it from me, but that shit works. Now, in terms of making sure your back doesn't look like a pizza, avoid eating greasy foods, don't do steroids. But if you're just genetically prone to acne and you can't seem to get rid of it, you can hop on Accutane. 2 of my friends, one of them being Roars, has hopped on Accutane and he's literally transcended. He was covered in acne and then boom, clearer skin than me now. So if you're struggling with acne and you want to get an aesthetic look, getting rid of the acne will help, so you might consider Accutane. Okay, so that was a lot to unpack, so feel free to go back and re-listen to it, but I'll quickly relay it back to you. So in terms of getting aesthetic physique, don't be scared to bulk up, do a push-pull leg split, focus on your V-taper, chest, and your arms, and eat enough protein. And that's all. If this video helped you, a subscribe would be massive because it pushes me to keep dropping free value in these videos. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.